Okay, so this is Cliff Empire. I bought this game a couple of weeks back. Well, first of all, I'm the CastAway DC. Welcome to Indie Games Indulgence. And as I say, I bought this game a few weeks back, and I've been playing quite a bit of it. And I had a few teething problems initially. I'm just going to go into a completely new game, but then I'm going to jump into a couple of the previously played games, because I've been trying to figure out the best way to show off like a city builder. City builders are generally quite slow-paced games. So I thought I'll just explain the basics, and then I'll just show a few games where I'm a bit into it. There are different game modes. I'll show them at the start, because he automatically asked me to pick them. There's the basic backstory, nuclear war, we all left Earth, now we're coming back on these pre-constructed cliff bases. Right, so first things first. These are the menus for the game. As you can see, we've got different game modes, and you can basically make the game to suit your playstyle, what you want to do with the game. So access to all buildings from the start seems fairly self-explanatory. There will be a few buildings you still do have to unlock by achieving things. I did do a game, I'm going to show you that one last at the end. I did have to unlock certain things, but the majority of stuff was there from the start. And I also did one with unlimited money, which speeds up the game somewhat, but because you do have to balance your resources, you can only speed up the game so far. But I'm just going to do a standard rule game, so what's in there initially. If you do the regular Marauder attacks, it becomes more of a tower defense, so you can do quick on these. So that's effectively a tower defense, and it's more about defending. I'm not that into tower defense myself, so I've been doing the default one. And then the sandbox, which is what I've done on another save. But I'll just show you first. So initially, you start off with 3 cliffs. Here they are. You can actually click on them to jump between them. You've got this generate level button, so until you've actually committed to placing an item, you can keep generating, and each time you generate, you'll get a slightly different layout. And there seems to be, there's only a certain amount of these items, these cliffs, but you can get any combination of the ones that exist in the game. We'll just kick off with this for now. It's good to have a bit of water, that isn't too bad a setup. So first thing I advise you to do is bring a storage down. I advise, especially if you're playing with the money, leave the tutorial up, because for each time you complete a tutorial task, you'll get a bit of money. Money back, so it does help you if you're playing on a game that's money. One thing I do want to do is I want to be mindful of not blocking off access to bridge across, because that's something I learnt in the early game. So if we just quickly place down
objective completed.
The thing, you get this lovely animation. You only get this once. If you do try and build further storage areas, it will just, you'll have to use your resources. So as you can see there, I've got 250 credits back for completing that. One thing I do like to do before doing what it's suggesting is just get my bridge in place. So that looks like a good place to have a bridge. Set that to sleep so it won't automatically build it. That allows me now to not block off that area, and I know later on I can have a bridge. Just learning from a previous game where I had no place to have to just demolish buildings. If you demolish buildings, you get some of your resources back, but you do lose them. And if you're operating on a financial thing, you need to be a bit more stingy with that stuff. So, I will tell it to build a landing platform and some housing. So they're both on the residential tab. Another thing I need to know is you do have, these are the basic resources. So you've got water, food, the ecology, power, and the maintenance. They're the key ones. If any of these start dropping really low, you'll start to lose population. These are your bonus things. So these are the things that it's nice to have, but are not essential for increasing your population and increasing your cash flow. But what you also have is in here, and this is where I came far first thing, you can see your food and your water here. What you can't see is your matter. Your matter is what you need to build stuff. So the first couple of games I played, I ran out of matter. So essentially I hit a dead end in the game. I couldn't do anything. And I hadn't yet. I'll tell it to do that, but one thing I am going to tell it to do before I bring people in is I'm also going to build a matter mine. I'll place that there as well. So I'll let it build them. So it'll just do that. We'll speed things along a bit. I'll set them as priority 1. So it's doing that.
Medium construction completed.
Now we'll get a medium residence because you need 2 small or 1 medium.
Large construction
I'll just bung that there. In fact, actually, no. Let's be nice. Let's give them a lovely lakeside view here. And they've got the lake on that side. They've got the lovely view of the wasteland. It's probably not that lovely, to be honest. So that's now got a matter. So that'll start doing stuff. So as you can see, there are 9 workplaces. This bar will tell me up here how many people I can have and how many people I do have. Obviously, at the moment, both are 0. I'm going to jump ahead of what the game wants me to do. I'm going to get some power and water up as well. So one thing is these are how effective things are. So as you see, sunshine is 100% effective. Wind, only 35% effective on this tab. So as I jump to my tabs, you'll see this one's good for wind. This one's kind of a bit rubbish for both. But so for this one, I'm going to focus more on sun. It's good to have some wind because you'll have no power at night. So I'm going to put a couple of solar panels down here. That'll give me a job. And I'm also going to do a wind turbine farm. Just to give me some... Because at night, I'll get nothing from the solar. So it's a good idea to have other options.
Objective completed.
So now I need to settle 15 citizens. They're coming down now. I'll actually only be able to settle 15 because it'll only send 15 at a time. So because the next batch is I can only have 26 people, it won't send any more citizens until I can have another 4 people at least. So I'll build a small house there. That'll give me extra 13. So that'll allow me to have 13 people in total. You can upgrade certain buildings. I'm not going to do this just yet because this costs extra money, and at the start, money's a bit of a limited resource.
Large construction completed.
So I'm just going to leave everything in their basic. If you've seen the housing, they have to think, whenever you do any sort of upgrade, it always increases your power consumption. So that's one thing you have to, I'll say that. The housing does have an option where you can put solar panels on, which adds power, which at the beginning of the game is quite good because these power stations take up a lot of retail space, and it limits how much you can develop. But you see there are other bits to unlock as you progress through the game. One of these categories, I can't remember, it's probably, I think it's actually this one, I can't remember off the top of my head, is cliffside. So you can build certain infrastructures also on the side, and I found building a lot of the power stuff at the side quite a good way of developing your city. As you can see, this is just all about getting your basics together for the most part. So it wants me to build some power things, which are good because they generate batteries which help me run at night. At the moment I can only run during the day. So if I just bung that there, tell it to do that as a priority. I think I've got everything on as a priority at the moment, so it'll just do it in the order in which I placed them. I'm also going to set it to have some water. Water is under food. I'm just trying to remember. Right, so actually, because we've got a lake, you've got this which extracts it from the ground. Does it tell me my water? Groundwater. Oh, groundwater is actually quite good on this, as well as I've got a lake as well. The groundwater one is cheaper, so maybe in the early game we'll have a groundwater, and later on we'll also add a lake thing. So I'll just bung that over here. So now we've got that being built, I'm putting these all on priority, I just realised. I'll also get a bit of farmland there. A couple bits of farm. And we'll speed things up a bit.
Small construction completed.
So now more people are going to come in.
New citizens arrived.
So I've now got 30 people,
Large construction
17 workspaces. It will jump up to 13 in a second. There we go.
Small construction completed.
So now the next bit won't happen until
Medium construction completed.
I achieve
Large
that.
construction completed.
So as you see, my resources, because I've got the beak, I can only have a maximum of 50 of
Objective
anything.
completed.
One thing I do recommend is once you've got your water built, do activate the no delivery thing, because these drones have to deliver all the various items everywhere. Once you do that, water just automatically goes either to storage or to the farms, which is fantastic.
Objective completed.
We've completed that. We'll slow that down for a second. All right, so it wants me to do the farm. Another thing I'll do is I'll build a maintenance thing, which is this bit. At the moment, I don't need it, but it's good to have in place. Because fires can be a right pain. I'm just going to bung that. Oh, I'm going to have to bit off centre that. I've lost some resources doing that. It's good to try and have things within boxes. Just because everything lines up a lot better. There are some items which are half boxes, but not many. We'll put that as a priority because it's important that actually the water should automatically go there. So now that there shouldn't be any fires, and if there are fires, if I go below, that should be enough to contain this entire map for now. So this is kind of like the basic early game. You just get things nicely settled and nicely in place, and there are various other items. So I'll just show you some of the items we've got in the map. So these are all the possible residential things. So these ones are your more practical items. And these make things look nicer, as you can see, as aesthetics. Oh, that one doesn't, actually. But that has a bit of an aesthetical benefit, and this has aesthetical. These can't be upgraded. These buildings can be upgraded to either increase population, increase power consumption, or increase the aesthetics. These ones, once you lay them down, you can change how they look in-game, and that does cost you some credits, but you can't actually change the function. That'll always have 10 tenants. It'll always +5 aesthetics, well, +0.5 aesthetics. And same with that. These ones also increase aesthetics. I don't see this one. I don't really see the point of, because it's the equivalent of space of that, but it's less. But it does have some aesthetical benefits. But having two of them has more aesthetical benefit than having one of them. Plus, you have the same capacity as that. So I've not really used much of them once I figured that out. You also got a villa, which has quite a bit of aesthetics, but as far as I can tell, that's all it does. No population can go there. It has no other benefit apart from aesthetical. You got your bus stations. That's one of the ones that does take up half a space. If you look at that, it takes up half a square. That's good for transportation. That increases this here, which can also increase once you have an airport, and you can increase various things. These are all cosmetic items. Some of them improve the aesthetics and ecology. Some of them just aesthetics. You've got all your various foods. So you've got your basic foods up top, and then your luxury food items down below. As well as like your support building, which helps improve things. And this for fish. So since I've got a lake, it might be an idea to plonk one of them down and start fishing. That'll make sure I can keep maintaining that, and that was nice and quick. And now fish are coming in. You've got your power items, you've got your industry, which has all your mining, and also these which consume luxury items. Your luxury items are for your population, what your population wants: furniture, appliances, which are white goods, seems to be, and gadgets. The gadgets are the one they want the most of. And balancing that can be quite tricky, especially in the early game. So you probably won't fill all of this stuff. You've got education, you've got justice. My justice is just below, so that means crime will happen, and every now and then, every night, some of these credits will get stolen. The justice buildings are in here. So you've got your justice, you've got your education, and you've got your health buildings. And you've also got House of Faith, which only benefits... It gives a few workplaces and benefits your aesthetics, but has no other benefit on top of that. So on these smaller cliffs, I recommend that you just try and look for items that have more than aesthetical benefit. Later on in the game, you might get other things. What I'll do now is... I have to quit, do I? Yeah, I have to quit the main menu. I'll show you a game that's part way in. And I've got a bit more stuff going on. So we have to go and play, and we'll load up this game. So this, I currently have 2 cliffs on the go. So this has got quite a lot more going on it. Got fishing going on, I've got hospitals, I've got quite a bit of accommodation. I've got a nice bit of park. As you can see, along here, I've got quite a few of the luxury items are being met. And the only thing that's not being met is gadgets. I do actually have them being built, but it's just very hard to keep up with the demand of the gadgets. I have a trade portal which links up to the orbital station above. So at the moment I'm just selling goods to them, I'm not buying anything off them, which is helping keeping this place a bit more profitable. This is a bit of a newer area, but as you can see, things are quite well developed. I'm currently building park, I'm trying to get the aesthetics up. I've got the bridges pending. I've bought them to sleep for the 3rd area, but in essence I have 2 functioning cities here. This has pretty much max population now. The only thing that will increase that is by breeding. I'm currently researching as well, so there's a research thing. So I'm researching the ability to improve my energy. You get this by, you have to build a university. You have to have at least 1 university to gain access to research. The more educated and the more education you have available, the quicker your research will be. So obviously at the moment I'm 55 and I need 38. So the number at the beginning is always what you have, the number at the end is what you need. So that's good. Justice at the moment is well above the need, so that means I don't get any credit stolen. It's justice on this one also above what I need. So at the moment, neither city is getting credit stolen from it. What else can I explain? Oh yeah, so we've got a few extra items in here. So we've got an office building, and that has, as well as having a place for lots of workers. Look at that, I can have 42 people working there. Also, continually generates credits. At night it will still generate some credits. This will just slow down. And the same goes for the bank. Now certain buildings like the bank gives me access to this, which shows me my average income. At the moment it's minus because I've got less than the 12,500 than when I started. I'm still building up credits. I'm still building up the city, so you are gonna at the start be in a deficit in that area. Also, what else did I unlock? Oh yeah, I've built here a town hall. Town hall gives me access to this. I can issue loans to other cities, which I have issued 1 loan. This bracket here is the loan that Split has received off Heaven Water, because I needed more money to develop that area. You can tell it to activate or deactivate all of a certain industry. And you've also got these laws to pass. One thing I might pass actually is let's pass the promotional holograms, because that will increase my power consumption, but it also increases cash flow. which at this stage is going to be quite good. I think I've got plenty of power on both. So I am going to do that on both cities. I can't do it on this city yet because my town hall hasn't been built. But this, you've got your bridge, which allows, say if I had, at the moment my workplace is absolutely matches, but if I had, say, 500 people here but only 385 jobs, but I had, say, 98 people here but an extra 150 jobs, the people can come across the bridge. And I've also got subways. I built 2 subway lines, so the bridge can transport 15 men as well as goods. The subway unit can transport 70 men, so I could transport 165 men. Had to do, is that right maths? That's wrong maths. 155 men, wasn't it? 15 plus 140, 155 men across that bridge. At the moment there's not much need for it, but I was planning on expanding this city a bit more. But this city is now fairly profitable and fairly self-sustaining. The gadgets are actually going up there as well. Aesthetics is quite low, actually. I'm surprised at that because I have this nice little park here. I might have to upgrade some of these buildings to show their aesthetics. But this has quite a lot of the items. What I'll do now is I'll jump to this game. Now this game, I was going to save over it then, that would be a bad thing. This game that I'm jumping to, I had unlimited cash, but you still have to balance your resources. So I'm actually on the end game of this. So I'll just show you this very quickly. So this is the starting point. This is where I started my city, as you can see.
Trading platform.
There's plenty going on here. All 3 of these are you know, overflowing, and they are full. You can see you've got plenty of power being generated. These are all wind turbines. If you look at this, I've researched everything in this. If you look at this, all the research has been complete, and that's why all these have an extra addition. So as you can see, in this place, wind is very good. So I've got lots of wind turbines. These are the cliffside ones, which are fantastic. So that's a power station. That's the wind turbine. You got your farms, and you've got all. I've also got on this side, I've got residential, and I've got hotels on the cliff side. You also have, if I just show you the things, these are all the items that you can unlock. So yeah, these are the cliff side items. These are purely cosmetic, these are relating to power, residential, that's aesthetics as well, to be honest, and ecology. And you have your below cliff area. So these are required, these 2 are required to build your below cliff area. That's where you construct the items, but these are the actual below cliff items. So that's all this stuff down here. So I've got these power generators. This is extracting ore, and this converts the ore into uranium and scrap. And then the scrap can then be taken up, and I do have recycling centres somewhere. Is that a recycling centre? No, it's a trade shuttle. But the recycling centres, I'll just show, rather than look for one, I'll show you it in here. It's under here. So the recycling centre converts scrap into matter, which you can then use to build your items. We've also got the airport, which is fantastic. So these help your pedestrians, and these all help with delivering items. So because I've got lots of these drones, this city is quite efficient. Now once you get to a certain point, you'll keep getting tasks that you have to achieve. As you achieve all the landmarks, you'll eventually unlock the orbital station. Now at the moment, the orbital station is virtually empty. I think there's 9 people in it. Yeah, there's 9 people living here. But I did develop this, and there was at one point over 3,000 people living here. But as soon as I unlocked my final city, which is the pièce de résistance, everyone moved here, because look at it. So this is the final city, and this is the end game. I've done all the tasks that the game can have now. So the only thing left to do is let the city be. As you can see, everything is pretty much met. The only thing that's not met is the tourist thing. I do have all the maximum tourist buildings. So here we've got downtown area. I put Notre Dame. This is Notre Dame's one of the landmarks you can build. I decided to build this lovely little residential area and parks around Notre Dame, make it nice and aesthetic. You can now hear singing coming from it. You can actually disable that if you want. I kind of like hovering by and hearing the singing, the chanting of the monks. This was the final project. This is a massive power station which is generating by itself 1,000 kilowatts. But it's been a lovely game. And I just want to say, I wasn't sure how to make a video explaining all the functions of it. It's one of them games you kind of have to get into and learn. See, there's lots of docks here. I thought I'd just show off what I've managed to achieve and hopefully show off my enthusiasm for the game, and hopefully that would sell the game. But it is one of those games, it's hard to explain all the ins and outs. It's about building the city. It has some nice ideas. And I've really enjoyed it. So we're now in the nighttime area. Let's go downtown into the... Oh, there's another thing that's a nice thing it has. You can access it via here. You can also access it by pressing tab. What this does, it puts you at ground level. And now you can just wander around your city at ground level. You can actually click through things. There's no restrictions. You can see your people just enjoying themselves. Here we are in this town centre. I'll just run through here. Here's a football stadium. Well, I say football stadium. It's a stadium with a... If I walk into it, can you see the pitch? You can see the pitch. I'm not sure what this is. It doesn't look like... It's not a soccer pitch, as the Americans would say, or a football pitch. And it's not really an American football. It's kind of like an imaginary game. So I'm not sure what that is. But yeah, it's a nice little function that you can do that. And you can wander around the city. You don't have to click through buildings. You can just... One thing I did notice, which I didn't notice actually, if I jump, take off the UI and jump down. So here's Notre Dame. That's lovely. Very big, very imposing. These houses, which I didn't really notice, but there's actually little desks and little people chatting away and just hanging out outside these lovely little abodes. Because I've got the holographic advertisement things, there's plenty of advertisements along the way. But it's a lovely game to get into, and it is very time consuming. I've put in, probably creating this game. As you can see, I'm in 2108. 2100 is when you start the game. So I'm 8 years into it. I've probably put in this game 40 plus hours to get this, and that is with unlimited cash flow. You still have to manage your resources, especially your key resources. I've had many occasions during this game where water and food became an issue and people started leaving the cities on mass exodus. But this is what this game is about, really. It's just all about, and as you see, I've beautified my turbines. You can't do cliffside things here, so they're always higher things. You get these extra tasks. Building this port was an extra task. Building this ecology barrier was an extra task. So that adds 35 ecology. As you see, my ecology is through the roof here. I'm at 482% ecology. It's very efficient. Manpower's at 71% because I've got such a low population. Also, this area, because it is still slightly irradiated, I'm losing a bit of health for the fact that this area is slightly irradiated. In this area, it's 100%. If I click on my medicine, in fact I have to click on the hospital, let me find one of my hospitals. There's one. It's 100% here because I've got a good ecology and I can actually... I'm above the radiation apparently. But yeah, this is Cliff Empire, and this has been a lovely game. And the way it evolved when I unlocked the orbital station, you have completely different challenges once you got here. It was all about making sure, because water cannot be produced here, all the water has to be produced on the planet and imported up here. But when this had a decent population, I had it chugging out, trying to find the thing now. It's been a while since I looked at it. In fact, is that it? No, that's not it. There we go, 3D printing. This really produced products are quite a thing, and I had it really chugging out products and sending them down to the planet. And there was a stage when I had no production going on the planet. Then everyone left the station, and all of a sudden I thought, oh shit, I need to produce stuff on the planets. And that's how I ended up with this, which all the areas, if you look at that, they're all at maximum happiness, really. They're all very delighted. Very big smiley face emoticons to everywhere, even at the orbital station with the 9 people living here. So yeah, this is Cliff Empire, and for probably the third time, I'm going to sign off this video. So if you have been watching me ramble on about this game, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Try the game out. It's I think it's less than a £5 on Steam at the moment. It's early access. For an early access game, it is very good. There are updates coming, so there will be more development, so there'll be more time for me to play through this game more. But until then, I recommend, yeah, give this game a go. I've loved it. So thank you for watching. Have a nice day, and hope to see you again. Goodbye.